Hey, everybody. Let's have a look at one of the ways that dog culture drives mental illness. So, we're looking at a website, Power of Positivity, and we're going to look at 7 outcomes when we assume the worst will happen. All right, let's just have a quick look here. One way is it limits creativity. Another way, it increases your tendency for anxiety and depression. Your interpersonal relationships are compromised when you assume the worst. That kind of sounds like dog culture. Oh, humans suck, dogs are better. If you always assume the worst, you increase stress and impair your coping skills. Are coping skills really good with dog owners? More at risk for health problems. Uh oh. Number 6, lower self esteem and confidence. That kind of sounds like dog owners. They can't do anything without their dogs. Negativity is contagious, so your loved ones will also start to assume the worst. Okay. Now let's look at this other thing called ants. These are called automatic negative thoughts. Here we're looking at an article from Mindfulness website. So, how these things affect the brain. So, when you have these automatic negative thoughts, you have problems with your brain. Notice one of the things that it talks about here. The cerebellum in the brain has gone on strike from all of these negative thoughts. So if you've seen some of my other videos, I talk about the prefrontal lobe and how that can be compromised with some of the habits of dog culture. Well, this is another one. These automatic negative thoughts, it messes with your cognitive processes and other stuff. You can make you be clumsier. There are a lot of long-term negative effects of this. Lots of interesting stuff in this article here. It's a downward spiral that can take a serious toll on your well being. So, suffice it to say, going around with these automatic negative thoughts is definitely not something you should be doing if you value your health or the health of your fellow humans. Now, to illustrate what I'm talking about in the dog culture, this is an example from Fox Atlanta. And this stuff happens all the time, and that's why this is affecting the mental health of humans. So let's have a look at the video.
Rolling and a neighbor watching this all happen as a pit bull pup ran to join the man that many believe is her owner, happily jumped.
So first off, they call it a puppy. They say many believe. So they're using these words, to make the dog seem super great.
Jumping inside his car through the open passenger side window. But seconds later, that same man is seen getting out of the car, dog in hand, and after looking around to make sure no one was watching, he mercilessly threw the dog over the side of a hill. And
mercilessly threw the dog over the side of a hill.
Then he walked away, drove away, just like that. The neighbor that saw it all happen rushed out with a flashlight, found the dog, and saved her. A bush had apparently stopped her free fall, and miraculously, she wasn't injured, even though...
Miraculously? That's some BS. Listen, these pit bull dogs, they thrash themselves around. They will jump off of cliffs, jump out of buildings, and they will be totally fine. Let's just look at a quick example. These dogs do this stuff all the time. They will jump up and grab tires out of trees. They will literally beat their own bodies to shreds to go capture a cat or anything. These dogs will even chew the fenders and doors off of cars. So this guy that did whatever here, the dog is fine, and there's no reason to throw a fit about the dog. All of this is like super negative thinking. They're so worried about the dog. They're so ready to demonize this guy.
She had tumbled down the hillside about 15 to 20 feet. Now, neighbors believe that she does belong to this man, who they say later came back to the...
So they believe and they say. There's no proof. There's no context. This is all gossip. This is all like a doomsaying version of gossip. The man, he's not there to defend himself. Very curiously, this whole surveillance camera that is catching all of this detail right here, they didn't show what happened prior.
This area looking for her.
I told him to pound sand, get out of here. The cops are on the way. This dog is...
Oh, so he was told to leave. Hang on a minute. You see, this is where that creativity and that positive thinking should have been employed. You told that guy to pound sand. Interesting that they didn't show that guy's face. So why would you do that? Maybe this guy's going through some trouble with that dog. Why not be creative? Why not be understanding and empathetic? Like, what would be the best way to deal with that? Instead of telling the guy to pound sand and that the cops are on the way. Why don't you say, hey man, what happened with your dog? Did that dog chew up your fenders? Did he bite somebody? What's going on, man? Are you okay? Did that dog hurt you? Because look, the dog's fine. You got to help your fellow humans. Maybe that guy would have been, that's the first time someone actually asked him what's going on with him with this dog. Maybe he could have told his story. Maybe the dog chewed up his car and he needs his car to do DoorDash. Maybe the dog bit somebody in his household. Maybe he went to the local shelter and needed help rehoming the dog because he got a job offer somewhere. And maybe they told him, no, we don't have any room for your dog. We can't help you. Maybe his family, he asked them to take care of the dog while he went and did something. And they're like, no, we have a whole bunch of our own dogs. This guy could have been going through all kinds of stuff with that dog. He could have got, a bad moment of judgment. And why not use that creativity? Why not use that empathy? It's like it mentions right here, creativity. When you assume the worst, you basically throw your creativity out the door. Just like that guy sitting there, yeah, I told him to kick rocks. Like, oh wow, dude, you're so tough.
It's very kind. I don't know how come somebody could treat her like that.
Very kind. Dogs cannot be kind. So again, they're just using this to showcase the dog. Like, it's so precious or whatever. Now, there's the building up there where that surveillance camera was. So where's the rest of this? This is obviously in a roundabout. So the guy would have had to come in through here. Interestingly, they don't tell you this story. Instead, they sell you on all this gloom and doom for this poor pupper.
That sweet soul is now being fostered.
Sweet soul.
By a very kind man in the neighborhood, but the search...
Fostered by a kind man. Oh, so this guy's not kind? Okay. You see what they're doing here? They're just forcing you to think negatively about this whole thing. And they do this all the time with these stories. And here's something about this story that I don't think a lot of people consider. This story, the way they present it, they are actually marketing for the problem that they're complaining about. Let's just say you lived in one of these neighborhoods and you had one of these pit bull dogs and you couldn't get rid of it. Somebody told you to adopt it, but it's way more than you can handle. And the shelter couldn't help you. Your friends and neighbors couldn't help you. You got on Facebook and talked about rehoming and everybody told you, no, you're a terrible person. Keep that dog forever. These dogs can get all kinds of lymphoma and cancer, and they can be a terrible stress on the family. So let's just say this pit bull owner was unable to find a solution, but he's just looking around on YouTube. He would have found thousands and thousands of videos like this. So he might have deducted, he might have been thinking like, hey, what if I go somewhere where the neighborhood has nice cars and they look like they have money, and I'll just let my dog loose down a hill or canyon, and a whole bunch of people will run to rescue it. You guys see what I'm saying here? A person that was trying to rehome a pit bull would probably get pushed away and treated like crap. Well, they might see a video like this and easily think, oh, boom, there's an instant solution. So the complaint about this video, they are actually incentivizing people to do exactly what they're complaining about. And it's all a bunch of gossip, and it's all a bunch of constant negative thinking. And that negative thinking that dog culture does with these stories is very bad for our human brains and very bad for our fellow humans. So that has been a look at how negative thinking is bad for us, and an example of how dog culture and the media and the dog owners constantly push this type of negative thinking out there, and they leverage it all on their fellow humans. See you guys in the next one.